the split. 23.356. So they're over a second down on the split we saw from Bastian Mullen. Down to the Benny's hairpin. Nice clean run out of there. It was a little bit wide off the exit. So they're looking to improve on a 47.71. See if they can do that down to the finish pool. 48.436. 48.436. So they didn't improve on their 47.711 from round 2 here yesterday. Lost a little bit of time, I think, in that first sector to the split. So when we call the splits, as they're making the run down to the finish line the first time through those 2 posts, that's where the split is for that first time, and obviously back run through there for the finish line run. So a couple of boats, you're starting to see where they're supposed to be going on the rotation. It's a very, 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 very big, long sequence of numbers to try and get this the rotation correct. Now, didn't see this boat yesterday. This is the 77, Disturbed, Darren Pollard and Jess Pollard. They actually double entered in the 777 twisted boat. Very distinctive sounding LS, obviously running a different exhaust configuration. So, not the first time on the water for the driver and navigator, but it is for the boat this weekend, which you're allowed to do going through qualifying. So, Darren's best lap, I believe, was a 55.21 yesterday to the splits, 27.413. Beautiful looking boat. Matt Craft, LS3. Oh, just got out of the throttle as it drifted wide around that sweep. A little bit untidy through Benny's. So looking to improve on a 55.215. So that was in another boat. Bring it down to the finish line. 55.262. 55.262. They're actually only 500 slower than they did yesterday. So, but first time in the boat, and they've beached it in the finish pool. Now, the interesting thing I noted this morning with that boat and the 777 twisted boat is they are running hand throttles, which I have never seen before. Someone down there more experienced than me might have. But they're actually running a hand throttle setup off the back of the steering wheel with what looks to be the fly-by-wire standard throttle pedal control out of a late model Commodore. We use the same thing in New Zealand in the V8 Superboats, which is why I know what it looks like. But yeah, it's quite an interesting thing to see how you've got a grip on the steering wheel and you're actually pulling the throttle back as well at the same time to try and get that to work. So it's an interesting concept. Boat looks beautiful. We'll wait for the 777 to come back out as well. But something to have a look at when you're down in the pits during our lunch break. So it's still Bastian Mullen and Talia James quickest with a 45.394. They've improved this morning. The new Nuts team have improved this morning. This is the 777 boat. This will be Matt Riley and James McCarran. So we saw this boat in action yesterday, double entered, which caused a bit of confusion up here in the Dow. So this boat's also with the hand throttle. Just caught a little bit of the island off the race start, which caught a couple of people out yesterday. Tuck up around that far island in front of the Alcott Hire signage in the corner. Down to the split. 25.27. So giving up about 4 seconds already to Bastian Mullen. Now heads down towards Benny's. Trying to get that RPM up, keep it up nice and clean off there. A little bit wide off the exit. Didn't cost them too much speed. They'll bring it through the centre and down to the finish line to complete their fourth qualifying run. Matt Riley, and the time will be 52.927. 52.927. So that's actually their fastest lap of the weekend. They went about a second quicker than they did in qualifying run 3 yesterday afternoon. They had a series of navigational errors yesterday, so just 2 times, but that was a 52.927, so that is their fastest lap of the weekend. Blackout Racing is next. Sprintec hull. Obviously an LS Chev in the back of the boat. 8 3/4 inch jet unit. One of the Sprintec hulls out in New Zealand, of course, former world champion Peter Coe. On the throttle, that sharp right hand into turn 1. Kyle Elphinstone and Jacob Valerie, sponsored by Truck Tow Bars, KMC Performance, Next Gen Demolition, Alibi & Co and Central Coast Batteries. Down to the split. 22.60, 22.60, so about a second off Basti and Mullen. These guys were third, quickest after yesterday. Down to Benny's, keeping the RPM up. Nice exit. That was a good run. Definitely a little bit better in the second half of the lap. Now come off the final stretch. Flick it left, flick it right, down to the line. 47.61, 47.61. So that's a big improvement. 47.614. Their previous best was a 48.076. So 4 tenths, that's a good gain though. They're still going forward. And that'll actually put them into position 2. That sneaks them ahead of the Nude Nuts boys with a 47.711 here yesterday afternoon. So 47.614 should have them P2 now, with Matt Malthouse and Leighton Collins dropping back to third with a 47.711, just a tenth in it between those 2 boats. So our next boat on the water should be Hot Shot. This is a brand new team, new to the sport. Rodney Norton and Camden Ayton. They had some navigational issues early on in the day. And they came and actually parked it a couple of times as well. So we've got a transponder issue with this boat, so we won't have a split, but we'll give you a time at the end of it. So these guys will be looking to complete a run. They had some issues trying to get around the course. And in the last run, they nearly got it right. They've got out of the throttle there, and it's gone wrong again. A navigational error. They're going to try and correct it, get back on track. And that's not gone to plan. Just showing you the jet sprinting is not the easiest of sports to get into. So their biggest issue at the moment is trying to get the rotation right more than anything. So as I said, they nearly got the last run right last night. They got down literally to the last sector, but missed the last 5 calls on the rotation. They got 3/4 of the lap. And have another go. As I said yesterday, the navigation would be the last thing I'd want to be doing. That's why I've got a GPS in my car for a start. Quiet time is next. So another Macraft, another new combination to the sport, debuting this weekend. Noel Verning and Nathan Garrett. Sponsored by Ag and Fab Contracting, J&B Create. It's a Macraft hull, 8.5 inch jet unit. 6.2 litre LS. What did they get up to yesterday? So they started with a 60.28, dropped to a 70.4, I think, with probably an error in the middle of that. 64.79 and then a 65.98. Their first lap was actually their best lap, and they just about fired it off that second island off the start. So they're looking to improve on a 60.28, which they did first up here yesterday morning in qualifying, actually, and that was practice. So 64.79 in round 2. 64.79 is what they're looking to improve on. So they were actually better in practice. To the split, 28.57. Presented boat, and the team looked very, very well presented as well. Under the island, around the top, down to Benny's, through the hairpin, ran it a little bit wide, just clouded the bank off the exit, back around the second island, straight back round on itself, over its own wash, through the centre and down to the finish, with a time of 57.756. 57.756, so they found a heap of time. About 7 seconds. That was a big improvement from late yesterday. So 57.756 for Noel Verning in quiet time. So if you've joined us on the live stream, welcome to our coverage from the second round of, first round, 2022 V8 Superboat Championship. Borrowed time running in the LS class. Mike Hessel, Rory Crilly, Irish Navigator. So they were in 7th with a 52.37 here yesterday. Had a couple of DNFs, didn't finish in the second and third rounds. Down to the split, a little bit wide on that run down to there, but the split 26.10. 26.10 for the split. Down to Benny's. A little bit wide, just cavitated and picked up the RPM. Bounces his way through the right-hander, back across the wash and down to the line. Looking to go better than a 52.37. Down to the finish pool, 53.834. 53.834. Couple of moments there where he's just down at Benny's, got a little bit wide off the exit and probably just clouted that shelf off the exit, which upset the boat. And you heard that pick up in RPM where it's not as ingesting as much water as it normally would, and just picked up the revs. That means no traction, which is hard to explain when you're talking about water. So they don't improve on a 52.370 from round 1 here early yesterday. Could be Slicer next. Paul Hill and Alex Singleton. Stinger Hull, another one of the New Zealand built boats, 8.5-inch jet unit. Looking for sponsors currently, so go down and see the boys in the pits. They'd love to talk to you. 6th in the Australian Championship 2021 in the LS class. Has been on the podium at one of the events last season. An aggressive start to this run. Made some changes to the boat since last season. Actually moved the engine back in the boat just to shift the balance and the weight around. Good start to the lap. Look to go to the split. See what the split is. They were 5th after yesterday, 22.75. So only a 10th slower than Kyle Alpenstone, who's gone second fast. Little lift, little think about that as they get down to Benny's. Nice, very nice through there. Boat crossing over its own weight nicely. This should be an improvement. They've gone 51.27. Can they get into the 49s? Yes, they can with a 48.207. 48.207, so that'll move them up the order a little bit. Probably 4th behind 48.076 from Blackout Racing. So 48.207, about a 3-second gain from the 51.277 in the second qualifying run. Then they parked it in the last qualifier. So that's a good effort from Paul Hill and the team in Slicer. Back to our Ripshift boat, but this is a different driver, cross-entered. Nate Mullen. And Jaden Bella. So they were 6th yesterday. Best time in the last qualifying session of a 51.742. Sponsored by Australian Speed Performance, GM Motorsport, Ripshift, Ramjet, Cool Air Intakes, Side Perfection and Gill Engineering. Second on debut at the first round in 2021. Third in round number 2. Split was a 23.691. 23.691. Not too bad out of Benny's. Bring it home for the last part of the lap. Back over the crossweight from the earlier corner. This look should be an improvement. And it is with a 50.075. 50.075. So that's, they've just found 1.7 seconds from their previous run here yesterday afternoon in round 3. So that might even push them up possibly into 4th. No, just a shade off that actually. So they'll maintain position, maybe 5th. It's faster than 5th, but Slicer improved, so that's probably going to be status quo. Aggravation. Now, we didn't see that boat out early in the run, so I'm not 100% sure which pairing is in it. It's either Ron O'Day, Paris O'Day, or Tyler O'Day and Xavier Jackson. So Ron was running as 29A, and we've got the number change. Don't think we've got a transponder showing either, so this will be off the stopwatches. Looking at the rotation order, I'm going to say it's the second pairing, Tyler O'Day and Xavier Jackson, and they were actually 4th yesterday afternoon. So no split for this one. They track down over to Benny's. Little lift, very, very wide off the exit. They've managed to keep it going, but it's cost them a couple of seconds. Big cavitation with the jet unit. Again, very wide through that corner, and it cavitated again and cost them some more speed, so a couple of little mistakes. $52,950, so they definitely didn't improve and survived a couple of moments there. Just about got it stuck off Benny's. That should take us into our second run for our juniors. This is Connor Smith, first time out this weekend, doing double duty with Kobe Burke, a team looking to getting into one of these boats. Connor's background has been in kart sport, former Queensland champion and junior sedans, where he's been very, very quick, but he's fallen in love with these little jet boats. Had a little moment there as it just skipped out sideways and nearly parked it on the island. He finally got to the end of the day yesterday and completed a run, had a couple of little navigational issues and parked it down at Benny's a couple of times with the issues they were having with the steering unit on the boat. So first time out this weekend, and he's fallen in love with jet sprinting. Wanted to go sprint car racing, but now he wants to go and race unlimited superboats. Let's see if he can get it right down here with that little run through Benny's, which he does. Yesterday there was a big roar of applause up there on the hill when he got through there unscathed. So this should be an improvement for Connor. 77.072 the first one yesterday. 62.2. That's a big improvement. 62.272. He's just found 15 seconds. So whatever they did last night definitely helped, and Connor drove it beautifully. Just found 15 seconds, just like that. All right, we should have some Group A action coming out now. Story of yesterday was Outlaw Justin Roylance, current Australia 1, 45.123. Rampage, Jody Ely, 45.186, just 600s the difference. This is Brendan Doyle and Rory Doyle and Pulse. Spectacular looking race boat. 400 cubic inch small block Chev. So their best yesterday was a 51.36 in round 2. Down to the split, 23.449. 23.449 to the split. Take that left-handed down to Benny's. Nice through and off Benny's. Back around the 12, down to 11. Down to the line, and that should be a big improvement. 48.84. 48.84. So they found about 3 seconds from their best, 2.5 seconds from their best here yesterday. Sponsored by Barineld IGA, JRE, Pulse, THS. Sister boat is the Girlfriend, and that will be out in Unlimited a little bit later on. So that gets Brendan and Rory well into the mix time-wise. This is Rampage. Listen to this boat. This sounds a little bit different with the exhaust setup in it. Jody Ely, very, very quick yesterday. Just 600ths of a second behind the current Australian champ. Justin Roylance and Outlaw. Justin and Jody were having a chat this morning and talking tactics. Good camaraderie across the first and second boats. Looking tidy, very, very quick. They were talking about maybe making an impeller change for the second round later on this morning. Goes to the split, 21.509. That's pretty much right on the money, 21.509. Nice down through Benny's, was a little bit lazy through the middle and coming off. I think he left a little bit on the water yesterday in his last run, and he definitely admitted to making a bit of a mistake, but that is pretty quick. 45.056. 45.056. That is your new pace setter in Group A. Just found a 10th from his last run yesterday, and that now puts him about a 10th ahead of Justin Roylance, who was not too far away. So Rampage on the money here at the moment as Toughen Up comes down through the pits. Jody Ely in Rampage. That's the jet speed hull with the Scott 8.5-inch jet, sponsored by GM Motorsport, Gill Engineering, Sign Perfection, Melton Bodyworks. Current 2 Australia. Multiple podiums over the years. All right, Toughen Up. Danny Nappick and Darren Tickle. Story yesterday, 49.6 in round 1, 50.3. Then they parked it in the third run with the DNF. Big launch sideways off that shelf, off that second island. Down to the split. Toughen Up. 22.9, 20.9. Nice clean lap so far. Oh, it ran wide down here in front of us. At commentary and race control, looking to tidy up the second bit. Can he get through Benny's? Nice shallow entry, nice and tied off. Little cavitation off the exit. Keeping that RPM up. Very, very wide through that right-hander. Oh, it skipped, it launched, it got off both of them and then got the finish line and crossed it. 49.825 backwards. 49.825 backwards. And missed their fastest lap by 2/10. Put your hands together for Toughen Up. Did it the spectacular way, but I think the bouncing off the 2 islands might have cost them that couple of tenths. All right, from race control, I'm getting the call that will be a no time because you have to be under control going across the finish line. Are most of these guys in control when they go through the finish line? I've got about 10 guys down in front of me shaking their heads. Oh, that's unfortunate, but it wasn't his best time anyway. But it was spectacular. I could see the underneath of the boat from commentary, and I'm 2 stories up. So Daddy Nappick, he's the Managing Director of KMC Trailers and KMC Performance. Sponsored by KMC Performance, Stingray hull with the Scott Jet. 4th at Keith in 2021. He's competed for many years in water ski racing. You would not want to finish your water ski run doing what he just did. Won 3 world titles as a driver in water ski racing. So back in New Zealand, I've had the opportunity to do 2 of the Bridge to Bridge boys. Hi to Brad and the guys if anyone's watching. All right, this should be Still Obsessed. Brett Thornton, Lynn Thornton. Best yesterday was a 48.370 in round 2. Jet black DT fabrication hull with another Scott 8.5-inch jet, which is pretty much the norm across the sport in Australia and New Zealand. To the split, 23.003. They're going to look to improve here. This is a nice clean lap. Sounds good on the RPM, no cavitation. Down to Benny's, can they get that right? Nice and clean through Benny's. Nice transition off. Got some fans down here and standing in front of me as well. This should be an improvement for Still Obsessed. Looking to not jump over the islands like Toughen Up just did. And to the line with a 47.769. 47.769. So they've improved by about a half a tenth. That was a good lap. Very nice lap. Sponsored by Climate Control Systems, Darren's Auto Electric, Susan River Homestead, R&J Batteries, JRE Race Engines. All right, attitude. These guys had a few issues yesterday. Didn't finish round 1, didn't start round 2. Finally got a lap in at 73.112, but the engine sounded pretty flat. They didn't start the 3rd and final round, so obviously had some issues throughout the day. So they'll look to get another time locked on here and make an improvement on that 73, which I think included a little navigational error in the middle. So running around the 5, that'll bring them down across through to 8 and then to the split at 14. 30.412 for the split. Daniel Warburton, Burton and Quinton Gleaton. A little bit messy out of Benny's, but they've got the navigation right. Big bounce through that left-hander through 11. And down to the line. This should be an improvement for attitude. 61.71, 61.71. That's a big improvement. To the tune of 12 seconds. 61.710 for Team Attitude. Daniel Warburton, 412 Chevy, Acecraft hull. Another Scott Jet unit, 8.5-inch unit. So Jody Ely's laid down the gauntlet. Where's the One Australia? Just coming out of the pit pool now. Justin Roylance, Michelle Hodge, current One Australia in the Outlaw, sponsored by Spitwater, Penrite, Roylance's tractor replacement signs you see, Forbes, Smash and JCB. Current Australian champion for the Group A class. They were up welding some extensions onto the exhaust this morning to stop the rear of the boat catching fire. So they didn't do the 3rd and final qualifier here late yesterday afternoon. So they've also repositioned the oil catch can. They were talking about maybe going back to an older impeller set Had some fresh ones in yesterday. Looking fast already. You know he's going to be up there. 7, 6, 5. That'll take them down to the split. This looks fast. 21, 2, 3, 7. 21, 2, 3, 7. Pretty much pacing with Ely. Down to Benny. Sounds awesome. A little bit deeper exhaust note with those exhaust extensions. Running around 11. Drops down to 2 into the 4 rotation. Over the back. A little bit sideways on the run down to the line. How fast? How fast? 44, 4, 8, 1. Ooh. 44, 4, 8, 1. It's just gone, Jody, 6/10. That was impressive. That was impressive. 44, 4, 8, 1. Back to number 1 goes Justin Roylance and Michelle Hodge in Outlaw. Jet Speed Hull. Former New Zealand boat for the Kiwi fans, Peter Hoos. Hey Pete, if you're watching down there in Wanganui, Palmerston North. Used to run the absolutely madhouse rotary combination in that boat. I'm not too sure if it had the turbo combination in that one. I'm pretty sure it had the supercharged version. One of the loudest, angriest boats you've ever heard on the planet. But Justin Roylance has just put it number 1 in Group A to conclude round number 4 of qualifying for the Group A boats. Big boys on the boat ramp. Unlimited. So Fonzie Mullen, well, he was just untouchable yesterday, absolutely untouchable, with a 40.960, which I believe is the first sub 41 for that rotation here at Cabarita. Here he goes, 583 cubic inches of methanol injected LS Chev, the biggest LS Chev in the world. Split yesterday was in the 19s. 19.256. 19.256. He's gone quicker by 2/10. Yesterday it was a 19.42. Tidies it up down through Benny's. Beautifully off. This boat is just handling sensationally. And Fonzie Mullen, he's going to go quicker here. He is going to go quicker. Down to the line with a 40.435. He's just taken half a second off that sub 41 here yesterday afternoon. Folks, put your hands together for Fonzie Mullen, the current Australian champ and world champ. He has just done that with about 14 exclamation marks. And he doesn't really need to go quicker to be
Bill, what a great story this has been. Local driver regularly contests events here at CABARITA, but outside of his appearance at Temora, the only round of 2020, this is where local knowledge and experience plays a part. Incredibly, his top 6 run eliminated reigning champion Kyle Elphinston. Early pace setter Nick Drury and Chris Edmonds, that was a bit of a hairy moment, just a little bit out of the throttle. It's a good, solid run, but it looks like he's made a navigational error. He has too, and that'll be game over. Matt Malthouse, he's had a tougher run of it this weekend, especially with teammate Ben Hathaway coming to grips a couple of times across the weekend, and that set the Nude Nuts team back a little bit. Harrison Collins, the son of Leighton Collins, alongside this weekend. He's in the navigator's seat, and the pair of them are looking to try and break into Bastian Mullen's lead. Qualifying saw Mullen up by more than 3 seconds, but typically Malthouse hasn't overreacted. Instead, he just focused on the job he needed to do, and over the course of time he got that margin down to just 1/10 of a second as we went into the first elimination final. It's a strong split at 23.01. That's not far off the top 400 class teams and on target to what he did in the top 6, but it might not be enough. It's a pretty tidy lap. Up to Benny's corner, he's had a couple of stabs at it, but he's got through. You can see from the attitude of the boat, he's really pushing hard. He wants this one. He won the opening round at Keith. He was second last time out at Temora. Coming to the line, it's a 46.946, his fastest time of the weekend. And what for Bastian Mullen, the sole representative of the Ripshift team in the finals this weekend. Brother Nate's taken things a little bit easier. He's missed the cut into the final 6. But Bastian's pace on his 18th birthday has been absolutely incredible. Let's go on board for the start of the lap. Listen to that throttle modulation. He's basically flat and he's pushing. Very nice lines. Just running the nose of the Stinger across the bank. Rebuilt by the GM Motorsport team after Nate's big crash at Temora. He doesn't look to be suffering one little bit. Regardless of how well the boat's performing, Bastian Mullen's driving it like a seasoned veteran. The split's nice, it's a 21.09, more than a second up on Malthouse. He just needs to complete the lap. Joel Page alongside this weekend, a new navigator after COVID setbacks down south. But a little bit of an experienced head alongside's never a bad thing. You can see how hard he's pushing right across the top of the buoy that highlights that narrow shelf. He's crossed the line, it's a 45.234. A full 1.3 seconds faster than his best.
I just said to myself, keep it in the middle of the track and just creep up on it all weekend and you should be right. It was a good run. They both felt good all weekend and I'm just really happy with the result of all 3 of us.
So there it is, win number 2 to Bastian Mullen. That now draws him equal on points with Matt Malthouse in the championship race, but you can see just how big an advantage he had early in the weekend and just how consistent he was. Matt Malthouse continues his strong season with second, with Paul Hill's impressive top 6 time, giving him his maiden LS Class podium. 4th for reigning champion Kyle Elphinston, who's finally starting to come to grips with his new Sprint Tech hull, whilst another strong performance from teammates Nick Drury and Chris Edmonds saw them back inside the top 6. Matt Riley put in his best performance of the year to fall just outside the top 6 despite the best efforts of he and teammate Darren Pollard, whilst Mitch Curtis, like Dwayne Mazzardri, spent more time focused on the event that he's racing, but he was 8th ahead of Nate Mullen and Jim Beeman.
Penrite, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
Hi, I'm Grant. Hope to see you in store soon. Hi, I'm Peter at Royal Answers Track Replacements in Fishwick. Hope to see you in store soon.
G'day, it's Michael from Tractor Replacements.
All right, good. Yeah, I'm good.
development boat, Kobe. I think Connor's put the pressure on him after his last lap. He's got to within 5 seconds of it. But yeah, Cody just skipped sideways there on the outside of the, which island's that? 13. No, that'll be actually 7 on the rotation, if we've got the rotation. So that'll be a no time for Kobe for that one. But yeah, as I said, look, very, very close connections on both sides of the Tasman jet sprinting. Look, offshore powerboating is exactly the same. The Kiwis have been racing over here, and the Aussies have been racing over in Australia. I know the Kiwis are hanging out to race this year with their new championship. They did not contest a championship in 2021, and we know they've got some very, very fast boats over there, both in Limited and Group A. Hopefully we may see some of those guys back over here later on in the year. We've got Rob and Edge Coley here for the majority of the season, I understand, and their boat should hopefully arrive, depending on the shipping company out of New Zealand, for the second round of the championship here later on in the year. I've got to say a massive thank you to our sponsors with the Australian Formula Jet Sprint Association and the V8 Superboat Championship presented by Penrite. Penrite, of course, a long-standing name in Australian motorsport and here in Australia. Over 90 years in the Australian market. Originally set up by Lee McCollis way back in 1926. And the foundation of Penrite Oil, the pen is from Pennsylvania, where the base stocks of the oil came from, and right for the right oil. So that's how the Penrite name came about. They sold the company in 1979, and John and Margaret Diamond took over it. And they've continued to build Penrite into one of Australia's most prominent and recognised brands, involved in the V8 Supercar Championship with Grove Racing. And they produce a range of high-quality products suited to Australian conditions. Proud to be a partner here with the V8 Superboat Championship. Back into LS, this is the last qualifying round. Bastian Mullen and Talia James. Currently P1 for the Australia one. Stinger hull, the Scott Ramjet jet unit. So the split was a 21.187, 21.187. So that's fast. Oh, a little bit just out of shape off Benny's. And cavitated and picked up the RPM, lost a little bit of drive forward, cost him a little bit of time. Down to the line though with a 45.313, so does improve. 45.313, but I reckon there was at least a couple of tenths there with that little moment out of Benny's. 45.313 to maintain position 1. Sponsored by Australian Speed and Performance, GM Motorsport, Ripshift, Ramjet Cool Air Intakes, Sign Perfection and Gill Engineering. The reigning Australian LS champion and the 2021 Rookie of the Year. That's not a bad effort, Rookie of the Year and champion. That split, though, was well up, I reckon, with a 21.1. So consolidates position 1 with that improvement. I still think there was a couple of tenths in that. Drop Bear is next on the water. So we haven't seen Ron O'Day and Paris O'Day running the first, so the double engine aggravation. We saw the second pair. This is Drop Bear, Laurie Howlett, Karen Howlett. So they've done a 53.128 is their best. They had a rotational error which they corrected early on in the run to the first split in the previous session. Looks like they've got it right this time. Down to the split where the 23.686. So they got the first part of it right. Looking to improve on a 53.128. Down to Benny's 3 on the rotation sheet. Then it's 4. 9.11. 2.468 and 14 to the flag. 50.195. 50.195. They've just found 3 seconds. 50.195 for Drop Bear, Laurie Howlett and Karen Howlett. That's a big improvement. Sponsored by Climate Control Systems, Panasonic Air Conditioning, Reed Homes and Air Touch. Another one of the Mack Craft hulls. This will be the nude nuts. Rotation error straight off the bat. Which they've now corrected, but it's cost them time. So this will blow out at the split. Matt Malthouse with the mistake early. Split 31.9. So you might as well write this one off. They were second going into today. Lost a little bit of traction, then just caught the island off the exit of Betty's. 48.3 in the last run. This one's going to go out beyond that too, a 57.08. 57.086. And that was with a correction fairly early in the run, which they had to get around and get back on track. So that should still have them third. And I've got the Blackout Racing boys up to second with a 47.614 in that previous round. Right, this is Disturbed, boat number 77, Darren Pollard, Jess Pollard. They were in another boat yesterday, so they did a 55.215 yesterday, 55.262 the earlier run in this boat for the first time. Little hesitation and just got out of the throttle briefly down here off the first turn. Another very distinctive sounding boat, that exhaust configuration, the LS combination. And he's got it wrong up there at the top corner at 5 and backs it up onto the bank, so that will be a no time. As the Speed Flow safety crew spring into action. May need a tow is what I'm hearing. Actually shut down before. No, they fired it back up. It should be all right. So no time for Darren Pollard, Jess Pollard and Disturbed for that round. Should have a black boat in the pit pool. Might still be on the trailer at the moment. About to go in. So that was that unique hand control throttle I was talking about on the Disturbed boat, and the sister ship, the 777's just backing down off the trailer now. That's got a similar setup on it. While we're talking, if you see the blue plastic bins around the venue, please don't put general rubbish in those blue bins. They are recycling bins. They're actually for a local charity. So cans and bottles for that, if you can put those inside, please don't put general rubbish into those blue bins, please. Right, so we should have the 777 coming out. Twisted, Matt Riley and James McCarran. Their best so far has been a 52.927. We should see all of these boats making the final 12 elimination anyway, so it's more about just a seeding order for that final run. So Matt launches out. Stingray hull, the Scott jet unit. This is where it went wrong for the 77 last time. That was pretty wide himself out there as we come down to the split. 25.484, so about 4 seconds down to what we saw Sebastian Mullen. That was a 21.2. Down to the Benny's hairpin. A little bit of cavitation, just lost a little bit of traction off the exit. Cost him a little bit of time. Back through the centre of the run down to the finish pool. Not too aggressive on the change of direction. 53.423. 53.423. So they're 52.927 from the previous run is still their best. Lost about half a second on that run. Just a couple of little moments. Just lost a little bit of traction and lost forward momentum. If the bottom of the boat's not sucking water in, it's not pushing it back out the back. Some of these boats are pushing out 300 litres of water per second. And talk about fuel economy. Some of the fuel economy is up and around the 25 to 30 litres per minute. Blackout Racing, Kyle Elphinstone and Jacob Bellamy. So they were third going into today, and they pretty much should be sort of around that spot. 47.614, in fact, probably jump back up to P2. So that would be second behind Ripshift. By Tripto Mars Australia, KMC Performance, Next Gen Demolition, Alibi & Co, and Central Coast Batteries. Sprint Tech Coal with the LS Scott combination. 22.38 to the split, 22.38 to the split. Those 3/10 up on Laurie Howlett. Nice clean lap, but a good run out of Benny's. Nice big arc over through the centre on the run down to the flag. This should be an improvement. 47.230. 47.230. And that is an improvement. Just went 4/10 quicker than the previous run. So 48.0 was their fastest for P3 yesterday. Improved to a 47.614. Which put them up into second. And a 47.230 to maintain, I believe, that second position, provisionally heading towards the eliminations later. So that's a good effort from Kyle Elphinstone and Jacob Bellamy in the Sprint Tech 2019 LS Champion. Kyle's also an LS representative on the AFJSA board. Kyle and wife Talia, who's the series, the treasurer, they're about to welcome bub number 2. And if they win the championship in 22, they're going to go Superboat Unlimited Racing in 23. Ooh, no pressure. Hotshot Rodney Norton and Camden Ayton. So they've had some issues with navigational errors. Newcomers to the sport. First weekend out, and Rodney, believe it or not, is an organic garlic farmer. What do you want to do, love? I'm getting sick of growing garlic. Oh, let's go boat racing. Can they get the rotation right? This is going to need a big cheer if they get it right. To the split. 32.98. They got to there yesterday. It was the last quarter of the lap. They didn't quite get right. Right, so they head back over through the centre. They drop down under these two islands. And then down to Benny's, left hand, got that right. This is where it quite didn't go to plan after the exit of Benny's yesterday. So from here, they were supposed to go to the left. They were supposed to go to the left. So navigational issues continue for the team to see if they can correct it, at least get the last part of the lap. No, they haven't gone back far enough. They just needed to make a little correction a little bit further back than that, so unfortunately for Hotshot, it's just that last little section. There's a half a dozen calls right there at the end. He went right instead of left. Time, not very quiet. Noel Verning and Nathan Garrett. Backcraft Hull, another one of the many New Zealand built hulls running in the Australian Jet Sprint Championship. Trucking company owner. Another LS runner to the split was a 25.95. So they improved to a 57.75 in the last run. Get it pretty much right through. Benny was a little bit wide off the exit. So looking to improve at a 57.756, and it's gone wrong, and it's on the limiter. It's ingested. Trying to clear all of that mud from underneath the grill. That's why it was up on the rev limiter. 59.19, so definitely lost some time with that one, but it sounded spectacular. Was probably on track to improve, but when it ran it wide and ran it over the line, it just pushed all that mud and dirt up into the intake grill, and it just sat there cavitating, and he wasn't going to lift. Was going to get into the line, hell or high water. All right, borrowed time. So I'd say there's going to be a fair amount of material underneath that boat on the trailer. Mike Hessel, Rowry Crilly. All sorts of problems trying to pronounce Rowry yesterday. I thought, oh, it's gone wrong. Hang on, get it back in the water. There you go. The rotation's not going to be right. Definitely a rotation error. But it's picked up all that mud again. Well, it took a shortcut straight over the top of the island between 5 and 6. So it ain't going to go any further. So that will be a no time for Mike Hessel and Rowry Crilly. They were aggressive from the hit, and then they hit the five and 6 has currently now got an Atchison Hull V dug into the centre of it. So we should have Slicer coming out, Paul Hill. Now they definitely improved. Went from a 51.2 to a 48.2 from round 2 to round 4. Keeping them up inside the top 5, maybe even into P4. So we should have Group A starting to head to the dummy grid, getting ready to get in the water shortly, heading towards the end of the last round of qualifying for the LS class. So this is Paul Hill, Alex Singleton, looking for sponsors for this race boat. Placed 6th in the 2021 championship. We'll see what they can do here. Now Mountain Raceway. Looking good so far. Take it down to the split, looking to improve again. 22.83, 22.83. Probably actually the third best split of the round behind Bastian and Kyle Elphinstone. Down to Benny's, nice soft, launched up out of the water, a little cavitation, lost a little bit of momentum and traction. Down around off 4 on the run home. Looking to go better than the 48.207, 48.702, 48.702. So I think that half a second might have been just that little moment down at Benny's where it just caught the outside, maybe that shelf, and it just cavitated, launched back out of the water and just lost some forward momentum. So 48.705 for Paul Hill and Alex Singleton in Slicer. The Slicer Stinger. I can see Daryl Hutton talking down here in front of me. He won't be listening. Hey, Nuts, did you have boost? No, he's talking to Paul Gaston. He's not listening to me. He's not looking unhappy. All right, second run for Rip Shift. Nate Mullen and Jaden Vella at the wheel this time. So they improved to a 50.075. They were P6 after yesterday. Might have jumped them up to 5th. See if they can improve yet again. Pretty much they have improved every run since the start of yesterday. Over the back there towards the spectators, around in front of the Orcutt Hire signage. Down to the split this time for Nathan Mullen. 23.37. 23.37, so that would be about 4th quick to the splits in the round. Gets it right through Benny's, nice run. No change. Didn't cavitate, kept the momentum up. Wide run through that last run onto the right-hander into the back straight. Can he improve? Can he what? 48.50. 48.508. So they've just found another 1.5 seconds. So yesterday, that would have had them P3, so that's an improvement, definitely an improvement. We'll see what the mix is in the run down to when we get to the 12 as to where they seed, but that's definitely improvement. 3/10 behind Slicer, so just sort of hovering around that top 5 position. As Aggravation comes out, Tyler O'Day and Xavier Jackson. So they did a 49.72, had them 4th after yesterday. Slow to a 52.095 in the first run this morning. So you might even see Rip Shift, Nate Mullen and Jaden Vella sneaking up into that 4th position overall. As we head towards eliminations in the top 12, split 23.528. 23.528. 2/10 down on Nate Mullen. Through Benny's, nice and clean. That was one of the better runs in the LS class behind Bastian. Oh, it ran wide though. And rotates on the island down here in front of us at about .11. Wasn't on for a bad lap. Whether it was going to improve on that 49.7 from yesterday is hard to say, but it would have been close. The 48.5 we just saw from Nathan Mullen was a couple of tenths up on the split from what we just saw there, but that will be a no time for Tyler O'Day and Xavier Jackson. Speedflow safety crew go to the rescue. Sleek line hull with the Scott Jet LS2, sponsored by Panton Hill Welding Services. Just caught that outside shelf on the run off 11. fairly late in the run, so didn't have too much to go to sort of bring it home. But should be able to get it back to the pit area. No, they can't. I think you should have turned right, boys. Left, sorry. So the safety crew thought they'd finished their job. Now they're laughing at each other as they're slipping and sliding around, getting in and out of the water. Shouldn't be too much of an extraction, but yeah, I think the boys should have probably gone left a little bit deeper water over that side. So we should have our junior development driver, Connor Smith, in the pit pool ready to go. We should have Group A on the boat ramp ready to go for their last qualifying session, to be followed by Unlimiteds. Most of the Unlimited boys are standing down here in front of me. Lots of blue sky over and above us. How pleasant is that, considering the starts of the weekend and some of the weather we've had over here on the coast over the last 3 to 4 days. So aggravation back into the finish pool. They will go back to the boat ramp and regroup for the first round of eliminations, our top 12 for each of the classes. We should be able to take the slunk. We're running on time at the moment, so unless someone says to me we're not doing it, that lunch break's going to happen, and you can come down into the pits out of the spectator area for a gold coin donation. Again, a big thank you to our volunteers, especially our safety crew guys, do an awesome job. Thank you very, very much. CABARITA Surf Lifesaving Club for helping out with the cafes, VRA on the gate, and obviously their ambulance services here at the event. The Hardy family for letting us use their land here. Steve Fisk for all his endless work around the track over the last couple of weeks, where I think he took 2 weeks off work to get this place looking like it is, and it is one of the coolest venues I've seen in Australasia. With that amphitheatre, great viewing, sitting above the racetrack, and just probably one of the best views in the country. I haven't seen any other tracks, so I can't comment. All right, junior jets, junior development class. It's had great success in Western Australia, part of the West Coast Jet Sprint Club. Originally trialled in 2019 and now officially become part of the 2022 Australian V8 Supercar Series program. This is Connor Smith. Let's see if he can get a lap in here and improve on a 62.272 from the last time out, where he found 15 seconds. Well, he's a little bit untidy through the middle there, but he's managed to get away with it. Down to the split, 26.459 for Connor. All of the running gear and driveline are out of a 215 horsepower Sea-Doo jet ski. Oh, bounces his way around that corner there. Supercharged. Now, the junior jets, Connor's running on what they call a learner key, where you can actually step down the power output, so it's not so fast and aggressive, because these things can be pretty quick. They'll do 120 kilometres an hour. The jet skis are pretty quick. What's he done there? 59.739. 59.739, so definitely an improvement. So he's within a couple of seconds now of Kobe Burke. 59.739, that's an outstanding effort. So capable of 120 kilometres an hour. They only weigh 270 kilos, including your driver. Very affordable option. I think they're sort of talking $9,000 to $10,000 to get your kids involved in the sport, which is, look, not dissimilar to buying a brand new kart setup. Probably a little bit more involved with a kart setup with spares and all that sort of stuff, but you still got to have a trailer and everything, so it's probably not dissimilar. But a fantastic little class, and we're looking forward to those numbers building up. Into Group A we go, led away by Colts, Brendan Doyle and Rory Doyle. Their best lap was in the previous qualifying round 4 at a 48.84. Pulse Hull 400 cubic inch Chev. Brendan owns the local IGA at Baranold. Split was 23.107. 23.107. I reckon they'll be up here. It looks like a nice clean lap. They've improved every time. Little cavitation out of Benny's. Didn't lose them too much time. Back down through the centre. Those two changes of directions down to the finish line. And a 47.891. 47.891. So another improvement by another second. 47.891 for Brendan and Rory Doyle and Pulse. So the benchmark in Group A is Outlaw Justin Roylance at a 44.481. What can Jody Ely do in Rampage? Now, I overheard a conversation in the pits with Justin Roylance that they were going to throw some new blades at this for this round. Wall of water down here in front of us at commentary off the race start. Crisp sounding boat. Quite different with the exhaust note with this combination. Little bounce through there, down to the split, ran wide off that middle island. Split is a 21.23, 21.23. Down to Benny's using all of the track down through there. Big change of direction, keeping the momentum up. Looking to improve on a 45.096, which he does, 44.927. 44.927, still half a second away from Roylance's 44.4, 44.4, 44.927. Looked good, just not quite as good as Roylance at the moment. So did they put new impellers in it? I'm not 100% sure. It got a little bit untidy over the back and maybe just lost a smidge out of Benny's. If you're watching the live stream, the locals call the hairpin Benny's, which is the tightest corner on the track, pretty much, other than the first turn off the start, where they're probably already at 100 k's plus before they hook right. Toughen up. Danny Nappick, Darren Tickle. No time for the last one as they went through the finish line backwards. Caught the two previous islands on the way. Their best has been a 49.6 in round 1 yesterday. And he's going to bring it down through to the split. 23.3. Ran a little bit wide, just turned the cavitation and the rev build up. Down off that right-hander, down to Benny's. A little bit wide off the exit. 23.3. Down to the line with a 49.39. 49.39 for Danny Nappick. So that's their best lap of the weekend by about 3/10 from qualifying session 1, round 1 yesterday. 49.394. So currently it's still Justin Roylance, 44.48. Jody Ely, 44.927. I'm pretty sure Brett Thornton at 48.3. Still obsessed. This is Brent Thornton and Lynn Thornton. 48.37 in round 2 yesterday. It actually improved to a 47.769. So these guys should be third overall currently. Split was a 22.35, 22.35 to the split, and exit stage right. And it's buried by about 3 feet in the bank. Didn't make the turn at Benny's and continued straight on. And it's literally buried 3 feet in the bank off of Benny's. I would say that's done a lot of damage to the front of the boat. They're calling for potentially, I think, a trailer. So there might be a little bit of downtime here while they... It stopped pretty quick too, so there's a little bit of concern, obviously, for the crew. Well, it certainly didn't lose too much speed in a straight line, and then it just buried itself nose first in the bank. There is a tile wall there on top of... It looks relatively soft, but it stopped pretty quickly. So folks, if we could just have you stay back off the fence, please. Speedflow safety crew there. We've got our Tweed District Rescue Squad, the VRA team, just heading down there as well, just to assess. So folks, if we could just have you stay back off the fence down there, guys. So really, that's been our sort of first big moment for the weekend. Brett Thornton and Lynn Thornton and still obsessed. Not good to see, but they'll have the best down there, just assessing them at the moment.
Penrite, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
What a great story this has been. Local driver regularly contests events here at CABARITA, but outside of his appearance at Temora, the only round of 2020, this is where local knowledge and experience plays a part. Incredibly, his top 6 run eliminated reigning champion Kyle Elphinston. Early pace setter Nick Drury and Chris Edmonds, that was a bit of a hairy moment, just a little bit out of the throttle. It's a good, solid run, but it looks like he's made a navigational error. He has too. And that'll be game over. Matt Malthouse, he's had a tougher run of it this weekend, especially with teammate Ben Hathaway coming to grips a couple of times across the weekend. And that set the Nude Nuts team back a little bit. Harrison Collins, the son of Leighton Collins, alongside this weekend. He's in the navigator's seat, and the pair of them are looking to try and break into Bastian Mullen's lead. Qualifying saw Mullen up by more than 3 seconds. But typically, Malthouse hasn't overreacted. Instead, he just focused on the job he needed to do, and over the course of time, he got that margin down to just 1/10 of a second as we went into the first elimination final. It's a strong split of 23.01. That's not far off the top 400 class teams and on target to what he did in the top 6. But it might not be enough. It's a pretty tidy lap. Up to Benny's corner, he's had a couple of stabs at it, but he's got through. You can see from the attitude of the boat, he's really pushing hard. He wants this one. He won the opening round at Keith. He was second last time out at Tamora. Coming to the line, it's a 46.946, his fastest time of the weekend. And what for Bastian Mullen, the sole representative of the Ripshift team in the finals this weekend. Brother Nate's taken things a little bit easier. He's missed the cut into the final 6, but Bastian's pace on his 18th birthday has been absolutely incredible. Let's go on board for the start of the lap. Listen to that throttle modulation. He's basically flat and he's pushing. Very nice lines, just running the nose of the Stinger across the bank. Rebuilt by the GM Motorsport team after Nate's big crash at Tamora. He doesn't look to be suffering one little bit. Regardless of how well the boat's performing, Bastian Mullen's driving it like a seasoned veteran. The split's nice, it's a 21.09, more than a second up on Malthouse. He just needs to complete the lap. Joel Page alongside this weekend, a new navigator after COVID setbacks down south. But a little bit of an experienced head alongside's never a bad thing. You can see how hard he's pushing right across the top of the buoy that highlights that narrow shelf. He's crossed the line. It's a 45.234. A full 1.3 seconds faster than his best.
I just said to myself, keep in the middle of the track and just creep up on it all weekend and you should be right. It was a good run. They both felt good all weekend and I'm just really happy with the result of all three of us.
So there it is, win number 2 to Bastian Mullen. That now draws him equal on points with Matt Malthouse in the championship race, but you can see just how big an advantage he had early in the weekend and just how consistent he was. Matt Malthouse continues his strong season with second, with Paul Hill's impressive top 6 time, giving him his maiden LS Class podium. Fourth for reigning champion Kyle Elphinson, who's finally starting to come to grips with his new Sprintec hull, whilst another strong performance from teammates Nick Drury and Chris Edmonds saw them back inside the top 6. Matt Riley put in his best performance of the year to fall just outside the top 6 despite the best efforts of he and teammate Darren Pollard, whilst Mitch Curtis, like Dwayne Mazzardri, spent more time focused on the event than his racing, but he was 8th ahead of Nate Mullen and Jim Beeman.
We should be back into the action not too far away. Watching the live stream, just wondering what's going on. We've got one of the crews in the Group A class that's just come off in the hairpin and here in front of the boat in the bank down there in front of the spectator area. So just some concerns, some assessment for the crew at the moment. We've got the Tweed District Rescue Squad, the VRA Tier Rescue Association just assisting down there at the moment while they assess the crew. As I know anything further, I will report that to you as soon as I possibly can.
What does Jody Ely have? Can he overcome the advantage that Justin Roylance has held since the final round of the 2019 season here at Cabra? He's been fast all weekend, in fact the fastest since the third qualifier. Justin Roylance has only been 1/10 of a second behind up until the second final, where Ely found an impressive 6/10 of a second to come into the final with a best of 45.65. But that's just 28 1/1000ths faster than Roylance's best of the weekend. So he knows this one will need to be quick. It's a great split, the fastest of the weekend for him so far at 21.03, but he's still got to complete the lap. This weekend too, he's got a new navigator. COVID challenges back in Victoria meant that he wasn't sure Greg Blaz, who's been sitting alongside him for years, would actually make it. So he had to go across to Angel Brennan, who sat alongside Mark Garlick for the 2018 400 class title. So he's got some serious support. It's a good lap. The Victorian has absolutely smashed this one and he's done it. It's a 45.018. Another 6/10 better than his top 6 time. That's the gauntlet well and truly thrown. And what for Brett Thornton, the 2016 champion? He's been consistently inside the top 3 all weekend. We had been keen to see how his battle with former rival Daniel James may have played out, but with Brendan Doyle's retirement, that ended that opportunity. But James would have needed to be on his A game to defeat Thornton around here. A 2-time Australian champion, Thornton comes into the final having shadowed the 2 points leaders across the qualifiers and into the finals. But this is his home track. He He's done a lot of miles around here, so they will have to be on their A game. The split's at 22.15, more than half a second down on Jody Eli, but about where he was in the top 6, where he'd closed to within half a second of Justin Roylance. JRE power plant on board, just like Roylance. The Still Obsessed team runs a Stingray hull, and Thornton's putting it to good use. He's got this circuit absolutely sorted. Wife Lynn alongside, he comes to the line. It's a 46.785, not his fastest, but that number's safely in the books. Justin Roylance, what does he have for Jody Ely? Can he continue this winning streak that has continued since the final round of the 2019 season? The time he's looking for is Ely's 45.018, which is a good 0.6 faster than Justin's been all weekend. The Outlaw team have been working on the setup to try and extract some more speed from the boat, but he just hasn't been able to break into Jody Ely's advantage. They were close in the Temora final, the margin just 0.08 of a second, so there's very little separating them. At the split he's down, but not by much, just 0.05 of a second. It's the second leg that has everyone cautious. That's a shallow ledge with that buoy. The infamous Benny's he's coming to now. That's had an impact on a lot of people's times. He's got around Benny's, he just needs to bring it home. Heads back up to the top. Where's that buoy? He's gone well wide of that. He's on the final run home. Comes to the line. What's he going to do? Oh, it's a 45.969. That's more than 9/10 down on Jody Ely. So victory to Jody Ely, his first since 2018, and he's closed the championship points gap. But Justin Roylance's 2 round wins keeps him clear in the championship points. Regardless, it was a great result for Brett Thornton to make it back onto the podium after getting the better again of 4-time champion Mark Garlick. Danny Napick takes 5th despite that early finish to his final. Fortunately, not too much damage to the boat or the engine despite that dramatic flameout. Whilst Brendan Doyle's early pace gives him 6th to keep him in the battle for a podium at season's end. Sadly, Doyle's early shower meant that we didn't get to see what Daniel James could do with the new pulse hole, but he'll be back for round 4. Rumour being that he'll be campaigning the team's latest package. Whilst for teammates Greg Harriman and Hugh Gilchrist, they, like the girlfriend team, have a little bit of work to do before the next round. Stanley's demise has allowed former champion Scott Krause back into the final, and he'll be looking to make the most of that opportunity. He's been quick here before, but just hasn't managed to make it to the top step of the podium. Today could be the day. Twin turbo, 440 cubic inch power plant, somewhere in the vicinity of 1,200 horsepower. Krause doesn't have the budget of some of the teams he's competing against, but he's certainly not intimidated by that. Great to see Burson's Auto Parts on board this weekend. He's pushing it at 21.01 split. That's about on par with his best so far. He's punched out a 44.44 in the opening qualifier this morning, which was on par with Daryl Hutton, only about half a second off Fonzie Mullen. So if he can close it out, he may well be in a position to take the win. You can see just how much of the bank he's shaving inside the buoy up the top, which shows he's pushing really hard across the line. It's a 44.408, his best of the weekend. A pretty competitive time for Hutton and Mullen to chase. Sadly, Daryl Hutton hasn't had the easiest journey into the final. That fuel pump issue ahead of the first elimination final had the whole team on edge. It hasn't slowed him down in true Hutton fashion. He put in his best run of the weekend. That 44.237 was quicker than the time that Scotty Krause has just put down. But he has to at least match that again and probably go a little bit quicker. It's the first time in years he's been able to take the fight to Fonzie Mullen. So he's going to give it absolutely everything he has. He's pushing hard too, just skimming the bank. Nice and tidy. Daryl Hutton is pushing hard. The sniff of victory has given him just that little bit of extra edge. Across the line for the splits at 20.15. It's about 9/10 up on Scotty Krause. He's fastest so far this weekend. It's the boat that Slade Stanley originally bought as a backup. He gave it to Nutsy after the team suffered that big off at Keith at the opening round. And he absolutely loves it. This is old school Daryl Hutton. Absolutely hustling the boat. Coming to the line, it's a 43.855. He's fastest of the weekend and just 4/100ths of a second slower than Fonzie Mullen's best. What for the former champion? He's been on a winless streak since November 2018. I think he feels like he's got this one. Like his rivals Slade Stanley and Daryl Hutton, Mullen always keeps just a little bit extra for the final if he needs it. Usually these days, the void to Stanley's so great that he doesn't need to risk it. But he looks like he's got his old confidence back. This could be the winning run. Let's go on board. He's working it. It's a fast lap. Still got a bit of bounce in that jet speed hole. At the split, he's up, but not by much, just 3/100ths of a second over Hutton, so he's got some work to do. It's just the third event for this Ramjet package with the jet speed. Could also be his last if that's what the rumours are about. So you want to go out in a high into the late afternoon sun. Now on the run home. Can he do it? Can this be victory? Yes, for Fonzie Mullen. It's a return to victory lane for the reigning world champion of 43.286. And there it is, victory number one for season 2021 for the Ramjet team. That win and Slade Stanley's setback has also given Fonzie Mullen the championship points lead. A solid result for Daryl Hutton, his best in many seasons, to fall just over half a second shy of the win, with the consistent Scotty Krause taking his third trophy of the year. Despite his top six demise, Slade Stanley's stunning pace saw him classified fourth after both Daniel DeVoit and Ben Hathaway also struck trouble. That was frustration for Hathaway, who at one point was on target for a podium finish, whilst Mitch Roylance was forced to settle for seventh despite another strong run. For Sam Everingham, his long-awaited debut delivered eighth, but quite likely some mechanical repairs after a smoky end to his opening final. Whilst for Glenn Roberts, he impressed with his maiden run in Daryl Hutton's twin-turbo machine, but like Everingham, he'll have plenty of work to do before the next round. And on his return, Andrew Page emerged unscathed after turning his first laps in about 6 years to blow out the cobwebs as he looks to find a return to form as the season progresses.
Penrite, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
Grant. Hope to see you in store soon.
Hi, I'm Peter at Royal Answers Tractor Replacements in Fishwick. Hope to see you in store soon.
G'day, Michael from Tractor Replacements.